Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the North East Non-League Show. Looking back with, and joining us now we have Peter Jeffries. Peter, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight.
No worries.
Excellent. And the show again sponsored by Beer Watch TV, Sunderland West End, Durham City FC, Jade Bell, and of course proud to support If You Care Share Foundation. A lot of interest in this one, Peter. I know we've had a few, as we've seen over the last few weeks, people mentioning get this person on, get that person on. I know your name's been mentioned a few times, so I'm delighted to have you on. Lots to talk about as well, which is really good. We're just getting to your early days of your career. You're getting to play in goal, which you said was quite late on, about 1920, wasn't it? And so what were you doing before then? Were you playing in academies or were you playing out? Or what was kind of your story before goalkeeping?
Well, I never played in any academies or anything. I was like during my teen years and that, I was just to play in centre midfield or up front. And then it came to a point where I was about 13, where everyone was getting a lot bigger than me and a lot stronger, a lot quicker, and I just couldn't keep up with people. So I stopped playing really. Like, I wasn't as good as I was, and I knew that until I got to about the age of 18, where I started to catch up with people. And I started to play again in Sunday morning football. So I was still playing centre midfield at the age of 18, 19, just in Sunday morning football. I never went to academies or anything like that. And then I was offered a chance to play in goal because the goalkeeper never turned up on Sunday morning. And it basically just started from there.
It's crazy how it happens. I mean, I know I've done it a few times where I've had to step in, but in a way, it's quite nice to go and goal sometimes. I know everyone seems to hate it and don't want to put the gloves on, but sometimes it's just a bit different, isn't it? There's something to what playing outfield.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but like everyone always wants to play in goal when they're playing out. It's like I could play goal. So I think I used to play like in five-a-side leagues, like the local five-a-side football tournaments and leagues and things. Like I used to play in goal and that quite a lot, but that was like on AstroTurf and things like that. And I knew I could like save shots and things like that, but when the goalkeeper never turned up on a Sunday morning, it was like, anyone fancy going in goal? I just put my hand up straight away, and everyone looked at me like as though you can't play in goal. So do you know what I mean? I was like, I can. So like I said, it started from there, and I had like a worldie. We first on a Sunday morning. I had like a great game where we knocked out a team from a high division and things like that. And everyone started to sort of look at me as though, can he play in goal? Do you know what I mean?
Not really good. Like you say, you're playing for Hartlepool at the time, and then Bishop Water came in. At that time, did you think, hold on, I've got a chance to go to a good level here? I mean, where did that move all come around from?
Well, I was playing for, like you say, I was playing for a team in the Teesside League, where that sort of come from Sunday morning. Someone said, "Oh, he can play in goal." So I played like about 15 games in the Teesside League, and then Hartlepool, FC, were in the Wayside League. They came in, thought like, come play for us, and that was like a big thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like jumping from nothing to playing in the Wayside League, and then from there, my Sunday morning manager knew Brian on it. He was a football manager at the time. And he was like, I know this goalkeeper that can come play. So I think Brian came down to watch me at, I think it was Kirby Moorside, which was must have been a trek for him as well on like a Tuesday night game. And luckily for the first 70 minutes while he was there, I had another like quality game. And then like as soon as he left, I dropped it back, which was a bonus. Like I think I came out like 10 yards out of my box to clear a ball, and I just completely miskicked it. And someone went through and scored, but luckily he wasn't there for that. And he was like, text me the next day, pretty much like, I want to come and sign you. You're very vocal, things like that. I said, that's just what I'm looking for at the minute.
That's a brilliant story, that. And you make the step up as well. And how good was it then to be working with the likes of John Bottenstein? Could you feel yourself improving as a goalkeeper when you're getting that one-to-one goalkeeper on a coaching on a more regular basis?
Yeah, I can't praise Shiny enough. Like I still talk to him now. Like he's a good friend of mine. But from the point I was at, I think I was at Bishop for like maybe a year and a half until Cole brought Shiny in. But from that point onwards, like I just got better and better with John.
Really good, wasn't it? And like you say, the big highlight from your time at Bishop was the 2013 Durham Challenge Cup win against a good Benny side who was doing wonders at that time. How good it was for your club at that time yourself, and obviously manager Colin Myers, to lift a trophy for Bishop Auckland against a good side like Spenny.
The cup win was like, was one of the highlights of my career, to be honest. Like, we had, while I was at Bishop, I think I was at Bishop for like 4.5, 5 years. I played like 200 games for Bishop. And I think the biggest highlight playing for Bishop was when we actually avoided relegation for the first 2 seasons while Colin was there, because I think everyone expected us to go down, but we didn't. And the Durham Cup win was just like topped it all off. Like, it meant a hell of a lot to the full club.
No, really good, wasn't it? Like you say, Colin, you touch on Colin yourself, and I've worked with him at New College as well. Great bloke. I mean, what's your thoughts on manager with Colin Myers at Bishop Auckland?
No, Colin was quality. Like, I've always got along with Colin. He was my type of manager, like proper old school, and he never really told me what to do. But I think he just left me to do what I do. I think he trusted me.
Yeah.
And like, a lot of people at the club trusted him as well in what he was trying to do. And it worked for him, and it worked for the club at the time.
And John was just mentioned before the show, but I've got to ask you to make sure, what was your pre-match ritual at Bishop Auckland? He was asking. Dare I ask?
Well, we had a lot of young lads in the changing room at the time. Like, I was only young really at the time. I know a lot of people, like, I think you spoke to Stephen Turnbull, who said, like, he sort of looked up to me as an older player on the team, but I was only about 24, 25 as well at the time, so I was still fairly young. But there was a lot of nerves in the changing room with the young ones, so, and I was always nervous as well playing, so before a game I always had to go to the toilet. And in the Bishop changing room there's only one toilet, so whatever I did in the toilet, it stayed in the toilet.
Yeah.
The next person that went in always seen what had happened before. But
it just breaks it up, doesn't it? Yeah.
Well, everyone, it sort of like got rid of a lot of nerves in the dressing room. Everyone just laughed about it.
And again, impressing the Bishop again, winning awards pretty much season by season, the players' awards and stuff like that. And along comes Spenny doing great things on and off the pitch as well. Was it a hard one to turn down, the move to Spennymoor?
Yeah, it was, because I think they just won the Vase the year before, and like, with them coming in, it was like, with the team that had it, was like, there's an opportunity to sort of do that again and go and maybe play at Wembley. It didn't turn out that way in the end, but yeah, it was hard to turn down at the time.
Right, like you say, instant success with the Northern League Division 1 title on 100 points, promotion to the Northern Premier League Division 1 North. Just how good was that group of lads and Jason Ainsley? I mean, I think the best thing at the time was beating Celtic Nation, who just kind of came in and said, right, we're going to chuck all this money at us, win the league, walk the league, and Spennymoor stopped them from doing that. It was really a strong side to do that, wasn't it? Because they chucked a lot of money around at that time, Celtic Nation.
Yeah, they spent ridiculous amounts of money. Like, I don't know where it all came from. And
yeah,
they had this massive fan base coming from down Scotland and everything, didn't they? It was a weird season, to be honest. Like, and they just vanished into nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, the Spenny, it was a good team, but from my point of view, I never really felt part of it. It was a strange season for me. Like, I'd come from Bishop, where like I was the number one goalkeeper, and then I went to Spennymoor and there was Kyle Hayes there with me.
Right, yes.
And the year before, Robert Dean was there, and it was almost as though, like, they all still wanted Robert Dean there, the players, if that makes sense. Like, they all knew him. And then, like, I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but he was sort of chucked out, and then me and Kyle both came in. So it was like, it was a weird season for me, even though I won the league. Like, I never really felt like I won the league, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, strange, wasn't it? But as you say, again, you've won the league, and again, it feels just every season or every other season you're stepping up. Every time when you moves as well, and then long games, Blythe Spartans, which to North East non-league football lovers like myself, Blythe Spartans, it's an absolutely huge club, massive history as well. In 2014, what was it like when you got the call to say Blythe Spartans are in for you?
Yeah, well, obviously I was in touch with Col quite a bit. Col was there at the time, and he wanted me there. And like, Blythe are the biggest non-league club in the area. Like, I know at the time they were the highest placed one, like, apart from Gateshead, but
yeah,
I think like Blythe are a bigger club than Gateshead anyway. So like, it was just a natural sort of progression. You couldn't turn and move down to Blythe at all, could you? No,
definitely not
in that situation.
Definitely. I know I'll have a few Blythe fans watching. Like, it was in the Facebook group, the overmoon, what you just said about Gateshead as well. So we'll have a few extra fans there tonight. But as you say, Colin's there, John's there, and a few players, obviously from your time at Bishop. Did that make that move even better, linking back up with them people again?
Yeah, like I say, moving from the Spennymoor dressing room, which was a far more like serious thing, where that wasn't my thing, where I could move into Blythe. A lot of people I knew there knew me, so I could just sort of go through what I normally did. Like I wasn't a serious player. I just I like to have a laugh before games, after games. That was just the way I got off when we were playing. It was like a release for me from just the normal life as football should be. So like it was so much better for me at that time.
Yeah, and I mean the one thing that sticks out from the Blythe was obviously that cup run as well. But I know we've had a few players on that were involved in that time. A lot of people always mention the big game against Hartlepool, the game against Birmingham and stuff like that. But you kind of forget at this level the amount of games you've got to play to get to that stage in the first place anyway. But I mean, you've knocked out some cracking teams on the way to getting to Hartlepool. After beating them type of teams, building up that game, was the confidence high going into the Hartlepool game?
Yeah, it was, yeah, but not for me. I know a lot of the players were, but I'm more like down to earth. I was more nervous about how I was going to do, especially playing for Hartlepool and being from Hartlepool. It was like a massive thing for me, and I knew a lot of people were going to be watching, like in Hartlepool who knew me, a lot of family and all that sort of thing. Like I think there was one point where we was in the dugout, ready to go out, and I think it was live on the BBC, obviously, and there was like a TV screen in the bottom corner, and it was like showing the tunnel. Everyone stood in there looking. I thought, oh god, that's me on the telly. Do you know what I mean? It sort of like sunk in as though there's going to be so many people watching this, and that was just nerves from then on in, basically until like the first 5 minutes.
No, that's amazing. Like you say, some cracking saves the first half. I mean, that one where a lot of people said it was over the line, was not over the line. I don't think it was. What a game to watch!
I've got that one on my wall just above there.
Oh yes, yeah. But I mean, as the half going on, like you say, you're still in the game. What was your feelings going into the half time?
Well, we were still with it. Like we had a chance of winning. Do you know what I mean? Like they didn't really pull up any trees playing against us. We more than matched them in the first half. They just got the lucky break with a goal. But I think the more the game went on, the more we felt in it, and the more we could win it. I think to be honest, overall, I think we were the better team. Like we played better than them. They were just sort of hitting and hoping.
And then, like you say, with Jarrett Rivers scores the 90th minute, I think it's one of those games like where you get involved when you're watching the World Cup on telly. On every games, you want the underdogs to kind of perform. And as Blythe were getting stronger and stronger, I would imagine, like myself, like other fans were kind of going, "Come on, Blythe, we can get through. You get this goal," and that's exactly what happened in the 90th minute. Obviously, at that end, you're at the other end. What's your feeling when Jarrett Rivers picks up the ball? He takes on 2 and 5 at the bottom corner. What was your reaction at that time?
Well, at the time, I was just thinking, keep it up that end of the pitch, you know, like, just keep it away from me, sort of thing. And then, like when he hit it, like I was from the other end of the pitch, I couldn't really see it clearly because there's that many people in front of me, and without my glasses on, I couldn't really see that end of the pitch. So it was, when you saw everyone jumping up at the end of the pitch, it was just absolute mayhem. Like everyone was jumping on the pitch. It was unreal, to be honest. It was like one of the best moments of my life. I think I dropped down to my knees, and it was like, whoa. It was like just pure. It was quality. You know what I mean?
Absolutely amazing. Like you say, the scenes just afterwards, the fans getting over and stuff like that. And I think Turnbull said he pinched the policeman's hat. I'm sure it was Turnbull that said that, something like that when he was on the show as well. Absolutely amazing. I mean, what was it like in the change rooms afterwards?
There's a picture of him on a policeman.
Is it? That was it. That might have been it.
Yeah, it was like there's a big pile of players. I think one of the fans broke his leg, and it was just, it was quality. It was like a great night. Well, for Blythe, like all the fans will remember that for the rest of their lives, as the players will. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And like you say, we talked a lot of the players that were involved in the cup run as well, and you're going to play Birmingham. And like you say, I know it was a strange game, scoring so many goals in so any minutes, but I know through that game some cracking saves as well. As a goalkeeper, I always ask keepers that to come on. I know that game, the Birmingham fans obviously they're setting off, giving lots of stick. What's it like when the fans are giving the goalkeeper sticks like yourself? Does it play on your mind, or do you kind of play along with it?
No, I just sort of played along with it, to be honest. You know, like, it's good to have that in the back of your head. Like I know that the goals weren't exactly the best. Maybe I could have done better. Do you know what I mean? That'll play on my mind for the rest of my life, whether I could have saved them or not. But it's one of those things where you're in them games and just things happen. Do you know what I mean? But then the fans behind the goal, to be honest, they were quality. Do you know what I mean? That's what you want to play in them games where them fans behind the goal shouting that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's weird.
Definitely.
To think of that, like you want people to be slagging you off. It's strange.
Even Niall, thank you very much for watching, mate. Really appreciate it. And again, everyone that's watching as well, really always appreciate your support as well. If you're just tuning in for the first time, please hit that subscribe button as well. I know we are almost at 750 now, which is absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for that as well. Getting back to yourself, Peter, and Blythe Spartans, leaving 2016, retirement from football after a spell of concert and back to Blythe, but then you signed for Shilton in December 2016. Did you feel at that time it was right to leave Blythe at that time?
At that time of my career, I wasn't enjoying my football. You know, like even now, like I can give or take football. Like I don't particularly enjoy watching it. And at the time I was playing it, and I think it was a game down at Corby, which was like 4 hours on the bus, and I think we were 3-0 down or something at one point, and I had like this 13-year-old kid behind the goal just calling me like all sorts of abuse, and I was thinking, like, why am I still doing this? Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's at that point where you think like people are paying and traveling to come watch the team. Like, if I'm not wanting to be there, then they're wasting the money. Do you know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't be still playing if I don't want to be there. It was a hard time. Like, there's a lot of things going on in people's like personal lives and jobs and things like that.
Isn't it?
Where people don't understand that. Like, I've been in the same job for about 9 years, and I was looking to change that. I was wanting to go like further my career and start working offshore, which means I couldn't play football as well. So at that time, I think when Tom went, I think it was like the right time to sort of think maybe I should look at other things. But then the job opportunity never came up straight away. And it was Colin that actually messaged me, said, look, Gary Forrest wants you to play for him for a few games. So I thought, well, I've got a few spare weekends, so I went and played for them. Basically, it was nothing to do with wanting to get out of the contract with Blythe. We're retiring. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It was like, it just sort of happened off the cuff.
That's it. And like you say, you have your spell at Shilton concert, and I think because you play more in the Northern League and it's more the local area, you're not travelling, like you say, 4 hours on a bus on a Tuesday night just after you finish your shift and stuff like that. Was it just kind of enjoying football again, being back in the Northern League?
Yeah, it was trying to enjoy the last, because I knew it wasn't going to last forever, because I knew I was going to eventually stop within a couple of months. So yeah, maybe it was just trying to just enjoy my last few games. Do you know what I mean? And it turned out that when I went to concert, them last, I don't know how many games it was I played for concert the second time round, but with that save that I made, that obviously went viral. Do you know what I mean? It was meant to happen.
No, it was good, really was good, wasn't it? And like you say, you retired early from the game, and I know we spoke about it personally as well. And I've always said I always watch Under the Caution. A lot of players come on there and give their thoughts on different things, which is really nice to hear as well. And because I think when you look at things, fans always assume this happened or that happened, and players never get a chance to speak. I mean, what was your reasons for early retirement at that point?
It was basically just like my personal life, and I wanted to change my job. I wasn't happy with my job, so I wanted to work offshore, and I was going through a lot of things at home where I couldn't see my kids. So if I was playing football on a weekend, I couldn't sort of see my kids as well. So it was sort of like a big change in my life at the time.
Oh, that's it, isn't it? And a lot of people don't say that. They just think, oh, it might be because of this or a contract, or they're not getting this amount of money, but they look at the bigger picture, don't they?
There was a couple of comments saying like, he's just got out of his contract at Blythe by saying he's retiring, and then he's gone to play for someone else as well. I'd like done the dirty on them, but it wasn't that at all.
That's it. Like you see, I think a lot of fans, especially not the Northern Leagues, maybe yes, you might be travelling an hour or two here or there, but when you say you're playing at high level and you could be doing a full shift from 6 o'clock in the morning, literally straight down to a game on a Tuesday night, 4 or 5 hours away, it's a lot of commitment to put into it, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. Like, I was working, like, say, 8 till 4:30 on site, but then if we were playing away, I think there was one game we played at Halesowen away in the FA Trophy where I had to leave work at 11 o'clock, and then we travelled for 4 hours to Hale Zone or something like that, and then it went to extra time, and then I didn't get back home till like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Then I was back up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Do you know what I mean? It was a nightmare. Like, people say you get paid to do it, but in the long run, I don't think it really works out in your favour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you end up pretty much even.
That's it. Yeah. And you mentioned the save as well. Obviously, like, went viral social media. The one against Hartlepool as well, like you say, was it overline? Was it not? What's it like when obviously you're seeing yourself on Twitter, on Facebook with this save, especially the one that was shared the second time? That was massive. That one. How did that feel, seeing yourself all over the place?
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, like the one that was over the line was funny because at the time, like, I was living like down near Hartlepool, and there was my neighbours were watching the game. There was a young lad at the time who drew like a picture of like the goal line, and then like he put the ball over and he like posted it through my letterbox. So it was like everyone was saying that it was over the line when I don't think it was. But the second save just went. I think that was the last game I ever played that with the one against South Shields. Like, I think I went offshore pretty much the next day, and like my phone just absolutely blew up, and it just went completely viral while I was away. So that was mad. Like, I had like hundreds of notifications on Instagram and everything about the save, and then different videos been made of it. Me like, have you seen the one where I turn into a rocket, and then there's like the one where I go down the
Oh, I've seen a few of the last. Yeah, I know it was nice that someone shared it on Twitter when they knew that you were coming on the show. So I was watching a few different ones. Like, absolutely brilliant, man, isn't it? Just to look back at it as well.
Oh, it just went absolutely massive. It was weird.
But looking back at your time as well in the football, you've played for some great clubs in the North East. Obviously, won the Northern League, Challenge Cup, Northumberland Cup as well, and that run the FA Cup. You must look back. Yes, you know you may have regrets of not saving this shot or that shot, as goalkeepers always will. But you must take some pride in looking back at your time in football.
Yeah, I couldn't really have asked for more, to be honest. Like, I've done some great things. Like, not many people at my level get to go on Question of Sport and Soccer AM and playing a third round of the FA Cup. I mean, like, anyone say you could do this in your football career, they'd be like, yeah, definitely. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't look back on that and say I had a bad career. It was quality.
No, it's really good. I think it's just nice for like shows like this where people have came on and we put people's names out that's coming on, and people's commenting saying, "Oh, I remember when he did that." Like exactly on Twitter, that save against South Shields, or that memory against in a certain match, or something like you've said to someone in a bar after a game, like one of the die-hard fans. It's just nice to be remembered as well, isn't it, by them type of people?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like, just to know that you'll always pretty much be remembered by some of the fans. You know what I mean? Like Bishop Auckland, I'm sure they'll all remember me, and at Blythe as well with what happened. Even at concert, I still get people now mentioning my save and say I don't know how he did it. Even South Fields, like, it's mainly them that share my video now, saying I can't believe he did this like 4 years ago, and then 5 years ago, and then 6 years ago. Like, it gets retweeted every year. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's massive. We're now touching on a big change, obviously, now winning medals all over the world. Jiu-jitsu. Tell us a little bit about that. How did that all come around, the change from football to
that? Well, I sort of missed, as a goalkeeper, I was like very physical. I don't know how much you've seen of me, but like I was quite a nasty goalkeeper. Like, I like wiping out centre forwards.
Clear the box.
So like, I missed that physical side of things, and like, I've always watched like your boxing and your MMA and things like that, and then it just sort of naturally progressed where I fancy doing jiu-jitsu sort of thing. And while I was working away, there was a lad there that was quite big on his jiu-jitsu, and it was sort of, I spoke to him. I said, like, can I train with you a bit tonight? And he was like, yeah, we'll go out in the gym, and then we trained, and basically I was hooked from there.
Oh, really good. And what's it like? Travel, like you say, all over the world. I know I've seen a couple of pictures of the medals and stuff like that. That must be amazing, not just going just for the fighting, but also traveling the world and seeing different places as well.
Yeah. Like, I think I fought in Brussels and Paris. Yeah, it's been good traveling, fighting, and things like that. It's quality, to be honest. It's a completely different sport of football, obviously.
Yeah.
It's all just down to yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
but no, it'd be nice if you did get back into football, if you had one of the medals around your neck for a corner kick coming in there. I don't think anyone will get next year. They'll definitely be about your way then.
I don't think many players went next to me anyway. Like, a lot of them knew what I was like. I mean, I played with Andy Johnson Litz for for a few years, and then the first time I played against him, I think in the first half I completely wiped him out. And he sort of looked at me, so like, we know each other, and I was just like, that's how I played. You know what I mean? I was always in the physical side of things, so.
Brilliant. And just to finish with our quick fire round, which we always do out now with every guest, 5 questions about your football career as well. Number 1, who would be the best manager that you've worked under and why?
It'd be Colin Myers. Obviously, I've played like nearly 300 games for Colin. Like Colin was a quality manager. To be honest, I think a lot of people don't get him. He's a proper old school man, which it doesn't suit many clubs. But especially at the time at Bishop and Blythe, like he was brilliant for me. Like some of the things that he did. Like I think it was one time we played in the semi-final of the Durham Cup. I can't remember who it was we played, but there was obviously Bishop hadn't won anything for years, and we had quite a young squad, and there was a lot of nervous energy in the dressing room. And Colin just came in absolutely stark naked to do the team talk. And like you've seen Colin, he's got like a body like a bag of soup. You know what I mean? Everyone was like looking at me, so what the hell? But it sort of like calmed all the nerves. And like I think Colin was brilliant for that. I don't think Colin gets enough credit for how good he is at what he does.
Yeah, like you see, I think now that you say the old school manager, I think a lot of that's now missed. You see a lot of course now coming in trying to play this type of football and doing that, and it just never works. I think it's just sometimes nice to go back to basics sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what Colin did. He just wanted 100% out of everyone. Like he'd be harsh with people if they weren't good enough, but they knew where they stood with Colin. And
yeah, really.
He always left me to do what I was doing, whether he trusted me and I trusted him, sort of thing. It was just it worked for both of us.
Just before we get number 2 there, Davey, thank you for watching, Davey. There's another comment coming in saying did very well at Spenny from what I remember. It was only about 8 or 10 at the time, but he said you had some good games for Spennymoor. So there's a Spennymoor fan giving you good praise for your Spennymoor time there, Peter.
That's good.
And number 2, the best teammate that you've played with?
It'll be Stephen Salvin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he came from Gateshead to Bishop when we were struggling. But he's one of those players that, like, you listen to whatever he said. Like, he always gave 100%. He was a tough player, but he always talked sense. And you could look at him and think, whatever he's telling you to do, you do it.
Yeah, run through brick walls with people like that sometimes, don't you? When you just
you wouldn't do anything that Salah told you to do. Do you know what I mean? He was a quality player.
And number 3, probably, well, I was going to say opposition player, but it's probably striker. The best striker that you faced, who is that one who you just could never keep the shots out against?
Is it Paul Brayson, the Newcastle bench?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I remember playing a game at their place when I was playing for Spennymoor, and Baz, the goalkeeper coach, was like, if he comes to a one-on-one, he's going to dink you. Just stay tall all the time. He will try and dink. He'll try and dink. And he said that about 4 times in the warm-up. And I listened to him. And then the game came on. I think he came through twice one-on-one. He dinked me both times and scored. So every time he seemed to touch the ball, it went in past us.
No, great goal. I think he's still playing now. Great goal scorer. Absolutely amazing. He's 40s now. Unbelievable. Number 4, best footballer moment for yourself?
Oh, God. It'll probably be the FA Cup run. I mean, you can't. That night at Hartlepool at home in my hometown, that was quality with all my family then. Everything to win a game like that was just unbelievable.
Oh, great memories. And number 5, probably just said it earlier, but the funniest footballer moment for yourself that you've seen?
Well, there's that one. There's that one. But there's been so many. Do you know what I mean? Like most of them involving Col. Like the amount of times he stood there in the dressing room getting changed, he'd just pull his kegs down and it'd be like stains in his boxes. Do you know what I mean? That shouldn't be there. Do you know what I mean? The man was ridiculous.
Absolutely brilliant. We'll have to ask him a few then when he comes on in a few weeks.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, I've never known anyone at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon to have boxes and that sort of state. You know what I mean? I don't know what he did to himself, but I was disgusting.
Class. Well, no, Peter, thank you very much for coming on it and sharing some of the memories and the stories. It's been absolutely brilliant catching up with you about the football memories with you.
No worries at all.
Excellent. And again, the people that's been watching, almost hitting double figures now, absolutely amazing throughout the night as always. if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe. I know we're trying to hit that 1K now and trying to push on the channel and the Facebook group as much as we can. So thank you very much for watching again, and all our sponsors as well. But yeah, everyone that's been watching, and Peter, thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night as well.
Right, thank you, you too, mate. Cheers.